Hey everyone, welcome back to the Virtual Hackathon workshop series. We've had a few, we had two workshops in the past week or so, and we're really excited to have you all guys, everyone here today. Today's session is pretty special, something different from what we had. The previous two workshops we had was with our virtuals team, with Celeste and Zero Dawn, speaking about ACP and also Base. But today we're joined by the very own Merlinkin from the Coinbase team, Product and AI on Chain, to walk us through everything you need to know to get your agents live and on chain. Just before we start, as a quick refresher, the Virtuals Hackathon isn't just about building cool AI agents. It's about launching autonomous agents that can run entire businesses live on chain, powered by infrastructure like Base, and together with our ACP Agent Commerce Protocol. This workshop is especially important because all submitted projects that are on chain must be deployed on Base. We're also really getting close to the submission deadline, which is going to be on the April 14th, so just shy away of 2 weeks from today. So this is your chance to learn on how to optimize your deployment and also make your project submission ready for the Base track. Our friend Lincoln will be covering the Base tools, our workflows, and everything you need to know to make sure your agent performs and scales properly. So definitely take some notes. So just to remind you guys again, submissions are open. So make sure your project is well ready before the April 14th, where the submission will be closing down. I guess not to waste any time, let's get into it. Over to you, Lincoln.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that introduction. Hey, everyone. So great to see you all in here. My name is Lincoln. I'm the product manager for the Coinbase developer platform, focusing on AI and AgentKit. And today, I'll give you kind of a brief overview of how you can get started with AgentKit, how you can start building agents that have access to a crypto wallet and a full set of on-chain interactions and capabilities. Also, really happy to take any questions. I'd love this to be interactive. I already saw a question in the chat around API keys, which we'll be happy to get to. So I'm just going to sort of walk through how to get started, how we're thinking about agents, AgentKit, everything related to that. And at any moment, if you have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'll try to get to it during the discussion. So to start, I'll give a brief overview generally of sort of like what AgentKit is. The main idea is that we believe that every agent will ultimately have a crypto wallet as its financial hub and unique identifier. Even if the agent is going to want to interact with various other like services or merchants that require them to have a debit card or a Stripe API or something like that, we believe the crypto wallet will be the core place where they hold their money, since they can send money anywhere in the world fee-free, since they can earn yield via DeFi, and they can spin it up in a very easy way that doesn't require a lot of hurdles like it would to do in a more like restrictive manner that requires regulatory compliance. The main place you're going to find a lot of information about AgentKit is from the AgentKit repo. I should be sharing this screen right now. I can't see it over here, so let me know if you all aren't seeing it for any reason. But yeah, this is going to be your one-stop shop to learn everything you need to know to get started. We have an overview. We have guides on how to get started. We have an explanation of the repository structure, where you can see all the different ways that you can start to find the different examples that we have, look into the specific actions that agents are able to take, as well as find more information in our documentation. Generally, I would recommend shying away from this. It's a little bit outdated. It's good to get a nice overview of the different tools, but normally I would stick to the repo and the various different readmes that we have. So yeah, to get started, I'll first show you how to run through getting started with the Replit template. I usually view this as the easiest way, but if you don't want to use the Replit template, there's also a quick start CLI, which I'll show you how to use very briefly. And I'll go ahead and show you what the boilerplate code looks like. We have two different repos here, two different languages that we support. One is Python and one is TypeScript. Within TypeScript here, we can click on the examples and we can see some various different chatbots that we have available for all sorts of different functionalities. We have one that uses Privy wallets. We have one that uses our Smart Wallet API, which allows the agents to take fee-free interactions. We have one for Solana. For this hackathon, not terribly relevant, but for the sake of ease, I'm going to look at this LangChain CDP chatbot here. And within here, we have a README showing you a little bit about how to get started, but you also have this chatbot, which is where the magic happens. So basically, the way AgentKit works very briefly is you have three main steps to get started, along with sort of like setting up an agent framework to use. Step number one is you're going to want to import all of the different actions that you want to take. So you see here, we have the CDP wallet provider. We have the ability to wrap our Ethereum into wrapped ETH. We have an ERC20 action provider for doing things like swapping or transferring tokens. We have a 721 for dealing with NFTs, Pith action provider to get price feeds, and so on. To see all of the different actions that we have, you can go to whatever Python TypeScript you're using, click on AgentKit, SRC here, and then here are all the different action providers. So there's all sorts of cool stuff that your agent can do. This is just the initial set of built-in features we have. It's also incredibly easy for you to add any sort of new action to AgentKit, and that's in fact what I would encourage you to do. It's a much more, well, I guess the way I would say it is the way that we think about agents is that the agents themselves are going to be commoditized. The fact that you can interact in this new way is going to eventually be available for anyone to do. Agents are going to be everywhere. The real value is within the proprietary data and services that are provided to these agents. And that's what we're trying to get at with having a wide list of actions and services that they're able to take and interact with. So all that being said, I'll go back to this chatbot example and continue running through it. As I said, this is how you import all of the different tools. And you have this import get link chain tools here as well. A lot of this is just general setup process. For example, you're going to want an OpenAI API key, which you can get from their website. You're going to want a CDP API key and private key. For that, you can just go to cdp.coinbase.com, which I will share in the chat now. And you can click that Get Started button. If you don't have a Coinbase account, no problem. It should be quite straightforward for you to sign up and start building agents. I'll show you very briefly what that looks like as well. Once you log in or sign in, do whatever you need to do, you'll be brought to a page that looks like this. All you have to do is click Create API Key here and give it a name. And then it will give you two different keys. One of those is like a name, and the other one is the secret. Those correspond specifically to CDP API key name and CDP API private key. So yeah, as I was saying, a lot of this is just like validating the environment. And then we get into the fun stuff, which is initializing the agent. So we're going to initialize with an LLM. We support all sorts of different LLMs. Basically anything that the specific framework supports, we're able to support. A common question we get about AgentKit is like, is it a competitor to ELIZA, to LangChain, whatever? The answer is absolutely not. I view AgentKit as almost like a sub framework or a toolkit that gives all of these different agent frameworks, a crypto wallet, and the whole set of on-chain interactions that you can want. So with that in mind, like I said, we have support for OpenAI's Agents SDK. We're actually like launch day collaborators with them on that, as well as a whole host of others. Once again, is the LangChain example. So all of this is sort of boilerplate code. You really don't have to do anything here. It should configure it for you, set you up with an API key name and private key. You can choose your network ID as well. Base Sepolia, base-Sepolia is what it defaults to. If you're looking to get started on mainnet, you just change this to base-mainnet. We'll get into more of the specifics as we go here. And then here's where the magic happens, is initializing AgentKit, passing in all of these different action providers, providing the API keys where those are necessary, and then ultimately creating the agent, giving it this set of tools, and now it's able to do these interactions. So this is kind of a brief overview of what this repo looks like. The last thing I'll mention is if there's some sort of thing you want to make your agent do, like if you're familiar with the personalities in ELIZA, this message modifier is kind of where you do that in here. This is where you could have different kind of rules or personality traits for the agents to take, all built within this file. This would be the right place to do that. So before I dive in exactly how to take this template code and actually do something cool with it, I see a question, how is it different than Alexa? I imagine you mean ELIZA. So the way I would describe it is like ELIZA is a framework for building agents. Those agents by default don't have access to crypto wallets or the ability to do any on-chain interactions. AgentKit is a plugin that allows them to now open up to the world of on-chain stuff. And why we're particularly excited about that is because we think this is going to be the way that agents interact with one another, how they pay for goods and services online, and how they have a unique identifier to allow them to be discovered. Great. So if there's no other questions, I'll go ahead and dive into one easy way to get started, which is with our Replit templates. So I'll go ahead and go to the cover page and walk through exactly what it's like to get started. I know there was a question about this from somebody at the beginning of the call, Armando. So let me know as I'm walking through this if I answered for you or not, and if not, we can start to dive in and figure out exactly what your problem is. So I will copy and paste this link into the chat. For those of you who aren't aware, Replit is basically a way for you to run a developer environment inside your web browser. I really like to use it for these types of like workshops and demos because it isolates any problems that you might have on your local machine. For example, it doesn't require you to have anything installed or go through any sort of like command line process. And sometimes in these demos, people can get stuck at various spots. Fortunately here, all you have to do is sign in, and then we can get started building in our web browser. So I'm going to go ahead and start walking through this process. If anyone needs me to slow down, let me know, and I'd be happy to do so. But once you're signed into a Replit account, the first thing you're going to want to do when you're on this page is click this button here, which says Remix Template. This is something I just sent in the chat right now. If you just created your account, you can probably only make it public. That's fine, but we're going to go ahead and click Use Template here. Now, if you open up this files, you should see a bunch of different files. The first thing you're going to want to do is we're having an issue where this wallet data.txt is sort of like persisted. This should be deleted. If you don't have this deleted, then you're going to run into immediate issues where it's not going to know how to create a new wallet for you. So step number one is delete that wallet-data-txt file. Step number two is we can look at this chatbot here and see that it's quite identical to what we've been developing with so far. This is the Python version within this Coinbase dev account here. If we go back to this page, you'll see we have all sorts of different templates built out. If you search for Agent Kit, you'll see that this is one of the ones that we have. I would also encourage you to check out this page. I'll send the chat here as well. This one should have also a lot of various different agent things for you to try out. One that I recommend is this Agents SDK Twig Start. This is the one for the OpenAI Agent SDK. We also have all of these different versions right here as well. So if you want to try out any of these, they're all good to go, have various different features, but all of them you can kind of build out from one another. Great. So going back to this Agent Quick Start here, we can see that it's like pretty much the exact same file structure, whatever, and it's in Python. Like I said, there's TypeScript ones, but this is in Python. One thing we're going to know is if we try to run this by clicking this big green button, we're going to see it says missing required secrets. Click here to add them. So what this means is that we need to add these API keys that we were previously talking about. If we click in here, we'll see that there's 4 that we need: the name, the private key, OpenAI key, and the network ID, exactly as it was previously. I'll go ahead and enter this network ID as base-Sepolia so we can get started on testnet, and I'll click add secret. The other 3, OpenAI key, API key name, and private key, you can click where do I find this, and it will tell you to go to the Coinbase developer platform, open the portal, whatever, grab those keys that way. What goes in network ID, base-Sepolia or base-mainnet. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste these keys, and then we can get started actually interacting with this agent. So copy and paste the name in here, copy and paste the key, the private key here, and then for the OpenAI API key, I think I have one on my desktop somewhere. Let me grab that. For those of you who don't, you're going to want to go to platform. workshop3.openai.com. Click on this big settings button once you're signed in, and click API keys here within organization or generally, and create a new secret key. Cool. So I found my key. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. And now if I click run, we can come over to this console tab. And what we should see is that in just a few moments here, the agent will be up and running, and we'll have two modes to play it with. We'll have a chat mode, which is where we can talk to the agent, tell us to do things, and we'll have an autonomous mode where we can do autonomous actions. I'll just go into chat mode, show you that it works. What's my address? Cool, there we go. You can do things like faucet funds, deploy tokens, deploy NFTs, check the price of Bitcoin. I'm actually curious what it is today, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. That's tough. That's tough, 81,000. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of the general way to get started with your agent using Replit. Yeah, if you want another way to get started, you can run this command inside. The terminal is npm create on-chain -agent at latest. I'll copy this command into our chat as well. But what this will do is go through this quick start here where you can set up your agent with a bunch of different configuration options. So this is, like I said, an alternative to Replit. You really only need to do one of these, not both of these. So I'll just give this a name. And if it doesn't work for you, like honestly, let's get back to it. So yeah, as I was saying, you can go through this as another option to get set up. If you don't have it working, then like I wouldn't bother doing it, but it's a nice way to get a bunch of different configuration options here. So for example, let's say I want to do the Vercel AI SDK using Ethereum. I'll go mainnet, Ethereum mainnet, and we'll use the Coinbase Smart Wallet. It gives you these setup steps, which you can go through and get your agent, as well as a front end that you can interact with it through. But like I said, this is just another option that you can use here. Yeah, any questions so far? If not, I'll go over some of the things that I think would be really cool to build and sort of like how to think about. Yeah, I've given you a brief overview of how to get started with Agent Kit. If you have any questions, please let me know in the chat, and I'm happy to dive into anything more specifics. But what I'll cover now is like some of the things that we want to see get built and like where we see a lot of opportunity for agents to exist. Yeah, like one of the things that I think is quite important to note is like if you just integrate Agent Kit into an existing project, that's awesome because it allows your agents to now interact with your protocol. Or you have humans who can use these agents as sort of like a natural language translation layer to take something that's difficult to do on chain and now interact with it in a new manner. Something else I'd like to call out is the Virtuals Agentic Commerce Protocol and this move towards like agent-to-agent discovery services and all sorts of other fun things that allow your agents to start interacting more. I would highly recommend exploring those. Generally, what I would try to avoid is just taking an existing agent application and then giving it a crypto wallet without having any need for it to have one. Yeah, that's kind of the end of the things that I have to say here, go over with Agent Kit. I would be happy to take any questions from the audience. If you have any questions about the things you're trying to build and just want feedback on it or some advice about how to build it out, would be happy to talk about that. Otherwise, I can go in a little bit more about like options, how to build things, how to create new actions. One question I see here is which option to build is easy on resources. It's definitely going to be the Replit. That's going to be the one that I would recommend using. This basically gives you all the things that you need and is not going to take any resources from your computer. So this would be the good option for you. If there's no other questions, one other thing I can show you is like where within the repo exists the ability to build out new actions. So if you go into Agent Kit here, see the scripts generate action provider. Clicking on this provides you with a bunch of information on how exactly you can get started creating your own action providers and implementing them within Agent Kit. So if the actions that are in source action providers aren't good enough for you, or you need other things, then you can by all means take any function that can be written in Python or TypeScript and build it out specifically for your project. Some of the ones I'll highlight here that have some pretty cool use cases across, you can do bridging, base name allows you to register a name for your agent, which makes it much easier to interact. So I could be like, send one USDC to Lincoln.base.eth. You can post on Farcaster. We're working on this like token launchpad stuff. Masari is a really interesting one, as it allows you to ask your agent questions and get answers like what DeFi protocol should I invest into, or what thing should my agent do, and it'll provide you with a really nuanced answer, which I think is pretty cool. Borrowing and lending on Morpho and Moonwell. You can on ramp using the Coinbase on ramp here soon. OpenSea, Pith price feeds, got all sorts of cool stuff here. So I would highly recommend you take a look and add in these unique actions and build agents that have some sort of cool thing that they can do. My last piece of advice would be, don't think about agents necessarily as crypto AI agents. Think about them as being enabled through crypto to do additional things related to financial payments and data transfer rails. They can do all sorts of stuff within the Web2 world, and that's probably where they're the most low-hanging fruits for them to interact. But then having a crypto wallet as a way to start paying for stuff is where things get particularly exciting. Another thing I would look into is like pushing the boundaries on autonomy and what agents can do if you start to allow them to do things like create self-replicating agents, which is possible using the Python action provider for Hyperbolic. That'll let you create agents that can like deploy other agents and all sorts of interesting stuff. So yeah, a lot of different opportunities. I know I've just been like brain dumping information. I'm sure it's a lot. So happy to take any more questions. If not, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, or the best place to get help with building is in our Discord, which I will send the link to now. It also is in our documentation here at the Get Help page, discord.com/invite/CDP. This is where you can reach out to our engineers, get feedback, all sorts of good stuff like that. So yeah, any final questions that I can take? Great. If not, thank you all for coming. Yeah, Virtuals team, anything else to add?
Yep, cool. Okay, guys. Yeah. So before we let go of our friend Lincoln, do you guys have any questions that you'd like to hand over physically? We have someone who has a video on. You might have a question to Lincoln. Wakid?
Yeah, I would like to ask some more related to the criteria and evaluation during the hackathon. So
Yep.
basically, what are you guys looking for in products? That's my main question.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
great.
So
Go ahead.
yeah. Okay, so if you refer to the project guidelines, right? So there will be a couple of things. There are a couple of judging criteria that we have specifically for this virtual hackathon. So if you go into the project guidelines that's available on Telegram or the email as soon as you registered for the hackathon. So one of it, the first one would be innovation, right? So the first one, does your AI agent or your solution present like a good novel approach for as AI agents in terms of autonomous businesses or other use cases? Or does your AI agents demonstrate some sort of creative problem solving and out of the box thinking that you have for this hackathon, or how this role play AI play in the solution, for example, in terms of autonomous commerce protocol, specifically working with other AI agents. So there's another judging criteria, which is impact. So what is the business case for your specific solution, or in this case, what kind of cluster that you are registering for, and together with the market opportunity, what are the many different potentials for the solution that you guys have to attract a certain user base, and the scalability in the current market that your AI agent is targeting for. Third would be your technical and AI excellence. So is your AI agent a solution that's technically challenging? Does it make good use of generative AI capabilities? And if your agent have any creative methods that's used to enhance your model quality. So is it using unique or synthetic data sets, some sort of fine tuning of your AI agents? And last but not least, for the demo day specifically, how clearly is the project presented and the current functionality that you guys have built communicated during the submission? And how effectively does the prototype or your demo showcase your application's capabilities? And last but not least, is your demo newly created, or is it based on a specific existing project? So just to recap again, like the judging criteria is available in the project guidelines. If you have more questions, you can feel free to throw it in the Telegram group as well.
No, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
Cool. Do you have any other questions related to the topic today for base? All right, cool. Lincoln, I think we have a question. Say I have no knowledge on agents, where can I learn this? So I think this could be quite related to building on base.
Yeah, great question. There's a lot of great resources to get started. Primarily, what I would recommend is a couple different Twitter accounts. I'll send them in the chat now so that you have some resources to learn from some of the thought leaders in the space, see how they're thinking, all sorts of stuff like that. Sending over 3. Here are the first 2. And I'm looking for the third one, but yeah, that'd be what I would recommend on where to get good insights.
Awesome.
Yeah, the third one I can't find, but yeah, I'll figure out where that is eventually.
Oh, good, no worries at all. All right, any more questions before we end the session? What's the coolest thing you see about building AI agents specifically on base?
Yeah, great question. I've found Base is primarily now the home of AI agents across both EVM and Solana chains. It's been fantastic to see the community adoption, but then also to the support from the Base ecosystem. We're very interested in making sure that Base is the home for AI agents, and we're doing lots of things to support that. One of the things is having agents be able to send USDC and CBBTC completely fee-free. You can also earn 4.1% rewards on any USDC held in your agent's wallets. We're working on a smart wallet API so that your agents can do every interaction fee-free. And generally, AgentKit has first-class support for Base. So a lot of different initiatives that make it the best place to build.
Awesome. Phoebe, I think we have another question in Mandarin.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I just translated.
Okay, got it. So there you go. So thinking about AI agents on base in the next year, what kind of groundbreaking stuff do you reckon to see that will pop up?
Yeah, another great question. There's a few things I'm particularly excited about. One is agents that become fully autonomous and start to run things like DAOs and become more of an entity of organization that people maybe start working for. I'm also excited to see agents become more autonomous in the sense that they can be decentralized, use decentralized hosting, decentralized inference, and in the same way we've seen like Ethereum L2s progressively decentralized, I think we'll see the same thing for agents. I'm also excited for their adoption from traditional AI developers. So beyond just focusing on the crypto space, how can we make AgentKit available and possible for anyone to use or get started with, regardless of whether or not you've ever heard of crypto? And then lastly, one thing I'll plug that we have coming out soon that I'm particularly excited about is this upcoming standard called X402. Basically, what we're working on is making it very easy for agents to call APIs, discover them, interact with them, and monetize their agents. So yeah, all of this is what I'm excited about and thinking about most these days.
Awesome. Right. Okay. So I think we don't have any more questions and we can wrap it up. Of course, I would like to say, big thanks from the Virtuals team to Lincoln for that deep dive in terms of AgentKit and on how to build AI agents on base. What you just saw wasn't just a demo, it was really a technical unlock. So with tools like AgentKit, you now have everything you need to go from just an idea to fully deployed on-chain AI agents. So running on base, interacting directly with smart contracts, functions, and also other agents in the future. So whether you're just building a trading bot, media clusters, lending coordinators, or even an agentic game studio, this is actually how you bring to life. So don't forget, for this virtual hackathon, you put in base, AgentKit, game framework, ACP. It gives you one of the most composable stacks in Web3, letting your agents think, act, and transact autonomously, ultimately going to the future of autonomous businesses. So before we end it, a few reminders as we close out. The hackathon submissions are open. The deadlines are by April 14th. If your project is on-chain, it must be deployed on base. Make sure you are in the Telegram group and are checking it time by time to make sure there are announcements running around. So we're now entering the final stretch. We have one more workshop that will be coming up next week on Tuesday on the, hold on. Let me see if I don't get mess up the calendar. It should be on the 8th of April with Alex Golding, which is from Hackathon Project to VC Startup. You have all the tools now, game, agent kit, ACP, the support of Base, and also the virtuals team. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the Telegram group. And we would like to wish you all good luck in shipping your agents. Can't wait to see your submissions by April 14th. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Lincoln, for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.